Yeah, this is what generally ERP, EDI mapping and all, right? So through ERP system,
Right.
internal format it is. From there, normally we need to connect with three things. One is we need to connect the ERP first. Connect the ERP, which is the first one, which normally we do here. I do one thing, let me write over here. Connect ERP is what generally we do. Okay, this is the first one. So once connection of ERP, whatever the transactions and all everything, that will be done as a conversation. This is what generally happens here. Conversation happening. So conversation will be happened around here. This is one conversation will be happening here. So from the confirmation conversation point of view, where in this whatever we have conversated and all of it, that has to be communicated. That is also there. Okay, right? So there is an ERP system through an internal format in reference to the EDI mapping itself is concerned. Usually through an internal format. So first of all, we connect to the ERP system, and that particular ERP system. And from there, in the first ERP system, which was the system, you are sending the information, right? Through that ERP part, I'm talking about. We are connecting to that ERP. From that ERP, we are sending this to the conversation. From the conversation, it will be sent to the communication, right? So communicate. So these are the three different stages which normally happens. So
Okay, so
once
the ERP system you're talking about is from
provider point, maybe
right from the provider ERP system is
yes, whatever.
connecting
Yes,
with
yes, yes.
the
This
internal format of
yes, yes, yes.
okay,
Internal format of it, and where we have to connect the ERP and we have to go for the conversation and communication. This is all something from the pair point of view. Okay,
right.
pair point. Now we need to maybe a provider point, right? So for example,
Provider
this we
point,
have to
yes.
connect to the pair, for example, right? So this we need to connect to the pair. So if you want to connect to this to the pair, just give me a minute. Right, so connect to the pair again. We require the same process formats. So the same connects we require the same ones. We need. So this is about communicate. Okay, this is what we generally say. It's called communicate. Okay. So communicate is what we say. Communicate. Now, whatever the communications are we sending here and all everything, this will be communicated here. So if you want to communicate, generally we need to follow. This is where sometime back I have told you, which is called ANSI external VDA fact forms and all everything. So this is where generally it has to be established a messaging standard. This is what generally we follow up here. Messaging standard. Messaging standard, which is called ANSI extra. At the same time, there are other standards and all everything, which is called EDI fact, etc. And all. Through this messaging standards, this information again, this will be communicated first, because this is where generally we do the communication first, right? So here we have to communicated. This communication will be received over here. So once the communication has been received, again, this whatever the information we have communicated, so that has to be converted. That is required. This is where generally the conversion happens here, conversion. Through this conversion and all everything, this will be connecting to the ERP system.
So now this is between the first set of boxes is
yes.
the provider,
This is
and then the second.
This is provider, this is payer.
Right.
I can say.
Right. That's
Payer
what I.
field.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but whenever we have connected this to the ERP, because initially whenever we have started with the provider point of view, there are some formats which normally we use, which is called internal format A generally we use. Here we use internal format B. Internal format B generally we use it. Okay.
Okay.
Understood? Clear? Sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Internal format B, which normally we use. Through this internal format, this will be sent back to the ERP system of
The pair.
payer.
Right.
Understand? Clear?
Yeah.
Now you can understand much better. Clear? Understood now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is how generally this EDI mappings and all everything will be taken. Okay. Between one ERP system to another ERP system. One ERP system
so-
maybe from the provider side, maybe another ERP system maybe from the
Payer side.
payer side. Yeah.
Okay. So this is where all the EDI codes
Mapping,
are being
yes,
exchanged.
yes.
All the communication between
Internal
one
part.
system
So
to the
whatever,
other.
yes, whatever the explanation I have given is an internal structure of an ERP system. Because outside you don't see the conversation and communication now. Because end of the day, what is that we see and what is that we have sent is only the information. Okay. So how this information happens in between, right, in back of it. So most of the people may not have an idea, but this is how generally the structure we have to follow when we are doing the CDA mapping, etc.
Okay. Okay. So one more question. Is it possible that the provider is using facets and then the payer is using, say, QNXT, or vice versa?
That configuration issues might come into picture.
Okay.
Which is not something advisable. We don't do it.
Okay.
Make sure the system, both the systems must be on the same one. Otherwise, we have to configure and we need to communicate. That systems will be there, but the configurations and all everything that has to be matched.
Okay, so for two systems, right? Okay, so for two systems to connect, I mean, they would both have to have either both.
You're asking ERP to QNext or QNext to ERP. Is it possible?
Facets, yes.
Sorry, facets to QNext or QNext to ERP.
Right.
Is it? The configurations has to be made. That's where generally the configurations, data mapping and all everything has to be taken care of. This is where facets configurations and all come into picture. Sometimes we have to configure and connect from facets to ERP or facets to QNext, right? Something, because whatever the procedures we follow, the procedures remains intact. That never changes. But the structure of the application, what we use for facets, maybe as less QNext may have some slight differences. Okay. So we have to make sure that not to happen. That's where generally we have to be very clear. Understood?
Okay. Yes.
This is what we call it is.
Okay.
EDI
Mapping.
EDI. Okay, clear?
Yeah. Yes.
So this is what I will go today. And tomorrow I'm going to explain. Tomorrow in final session, I'm going to explain the case study. Can explain you from the pair point.
Okay. Yes.
Right, Shannon?
Right. In the meantime, in case I do think of other questions, I will email them.
Please.
Okay.
Please do email. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.